take you through the steps of making your sprite move up and down using the arrow keys on your keyboard. Let's begin. To start, choose a backdrop for your project and a sprite that you want to code to make it move up and down on the stage. If you need help with how to choose a sprite or a backdrop, see Scratch Basics Episode 2, Deleting a Sprite, Adding a Sprite, and Adding a Backdrop for more information. For this episode, let's start by setting the position of your sprite. Click and drag your sprite where you want it to go on your stage. So for this part, I'm going to put my sprite on top of the table. You will notice once you click and drag your sprite that your X and Y coordinates in the sprite's pane will update. Next, click and drag a When Green Flag Clicked block from the Events category in the block palette onto your code area. Next, click and drag a Go to XY coordinates block from the Motion category in the block palette on the code area. This block will tell your sprite where to begin on the stage when you run your code. You will notice that the X coordinate and Y coordinate inside the block match the X coordinate and Y coordinate of your sprite in the sprite's pane. Next, we want to code our sprite to move up and down. To do this, we need to click and drag a When Space Key Pressed block from the Events category in the block palette onto the code area. Click on the drop-down menu in the When Space Key Pressed block and select the up arrow. This will tell your sprite that when you press the up arrow, it will follow the code underneath it. Next, click and drag a Change Y by 10 block from the Motion category in the block palette. Attach this block to the When Up Arrow Key Pressed block. The Change Y by 10 block tells your sprite to move up the Y axis because the number is getting bigger. Therefore, when you press the up arrow key, your sprite should move 10 places upward on the Y axis to a new Y coordinate. Next, we need to click and drag a second When Space Key Pressed block from the Events category onto your code area. Click on the drop-down menu in the When Space Key Pressed block and select down arrow. This will tell your sprite that when you press the down arrow, it will follow the code underneath it. Next, we want to click and drag a Change Y by 10 block onto the code area and attach it to the When Down Arrow Key Pressed block. Click on the white bubble inside the Change Y by 10 block that is attached to the When Down Arrow Key Pressed block. We're going to change this number to -10, and this will tell your sprite to move down the Y axis because the number is getting smaller. Therefore, when you press the down arrow key, your sprite should move 10 places downward on the Y axis to a new Y coordinate. Test out your code by pressing the green flag button above the stage. Use your up and down arrow keys to move your sprite up and down along the Y axis.